Hi, everybody. This is kind of a surprise early program. My dog Topaz is at the vet. He's getting some fluids, just precautionary stuff. But I've got to go pick him up, and I wouldn't have time to do the program as I would normally do it at the normal time. So I'm doing it now instead. So I don't expect that anybody is really going to be watching this program except after the fact as an archive. But how is everybody? Uh, I want to talk about the Cavaliers, but first, I suppose I should mention that the Cleveland Browns have gotten themselves in a trade with the Houston Texans. Boy, they're constant dance companions, it would seem. Um, to get an offensive lineman, Titus Howard, and with it comes an extension of a 3-year contract. He's better than what we have, which isn't saying a whole hell of a lot, but we need bodies and able bodies. He's 30 years old. He's been in the league. He's proven he can do the job, assuming that we have a system that's doable, which we will see as we get closer to the season. But it's obvious the Browns are going to have to find 3 more offensive linemen, most certainly, either from the draft through other trades or other situations, or getting free agents who are veterans, that sort of thing. So and it was interesting. David Zalewski did send me a little piece of information that would suggest that he is a great improvement over the bozos that we have had over the course of this past season. I will read this to you as it was sent to me. Howard had a 4.9% pressure rate allowed with 1% quick pressure rate compared to Cam Robinson's 17.2 and 4.4. KT Leviston, 14%, 4.1% QPR. And Jack Conklin, 16% pressure rate, 6% QPR. And DeJuan Jones, 11.7% percent pressure rate and a 7.4 QPR. So, from a statistical perspective, it is a move up. Hello, how you doing, Richard? Good to see you. I'm glad somebody accidentally stumbled into the program today. I do appreciate it a lot. But I really want to talk about the Cavaliers today because there are some things that I'm noticing, and when I notice something, I'm not shy. I'm not going to get overly emotional about it, but I'm going to start asking questions. And I think that it's fair to ask questions when you see things that aren't going particularly right. What I want to do first is start with a video share, and we're going to run this, and this is where we start. And this is not going to be a long show. This is going to be short and sweet, but this is where we start talking about issues that go all the way up to the head coach and things that need to change for the Cavaliers. You'll recognize this play because we were all shaking our heads.
Second violation of the officials are trained. They see it go to 15 because it starts at 0, 24. Here's Harden. It's good for James Harden.
Now,
Harden with his second made 3. It's good for James Harden. 24.
Bang.
It's good. 24.
Bang.
It's good.
Now, it's really nauseating to me to see how teams now can literally try to injure Cavalier players and get away with it because the officials want it to happen. And the thought of somebody just steamrolling James Harden when he played for the Houston Rockets, it's for a lack of a better way of looking at it, it's pathetic. Um, against the goddamn Nets, who are trying to tank games. And every one of the Cavalier players are targets. And against the Pistons, Duncan Robinson was literally grabbing jerseys the entire game. He should have fouled out in the first quarter, and they just ignore it. Everything that can possibly be done illegally is being done illegally. The referees jumped in with this phantom 8-second violation of coming up the court. They're trying to fuck the heads up of the entire team. There's no doubt in my mind. I mean, first of all, if they said 8 seconds, that wasn't 8 fucking seconds. And I can't find any videos about this at all online. But it was a bozo call. And it's just one of these things. They wanted to make sure that the Nets got the ball back to have a chance to tie the game, especially after they punished the Cavaliers against the Pistons in a similar kind of way in that basketball game. But it goes deeper because you're never going to change what the referees do and what the league does. You can only change what you're doing. And I'm looking at the Cleveland Cavaliers and asking myself some serious questions. First of all, I take a look at the players themselves. And I agree, Richard. They threw the ball backwards to Jalen Tyson. Tyson caught it in the backcourt. It should have been over and back, and he just kind of act like he was saving it. They stole it and ran it in and slam dunked it. I mean, there's only one reason this is happening, and you know it, and I know it, and we all scream for ice cream. I ask myself questions about players. You know, I look at a guy like DeAndre Hunter, who was such a useful player last year, and all of a sudden he just turned into a gigantic turd. I mean, he looked like he lost his best friend. And maybe he did in Ty Jerome. I don't know what the story is. But Captain Longface would come out into the game and just not show up. And all of his confidence was stripped from him. Literally, he could not shoot threes anymore. His head was up his ass. He was throwing the ball to the wrong team. I mean, he just wasn't even in the game mentally. And then we trade him, and now he's got an eye infection that's going to take him out for the rest of the year. Now, I'd say, okay, DeAndre Hunter, he came from Atlanta, and Atlanta really wasn't a contending team. And playing in important games, maybe it just was too much for him. And that's what I thought at first. I don't think that anymore, because I'm going to talk about a number of players who I believe Kenny Atkinson is destroying their confidence. And it's impossible that it's happening to so many and in such quick order. The first one is Jalen Tyson. I don't for the world understand how a guy who goes from his first year to his second year and makes such strides as Jalen Tyson has could possibly be belittled by that little man Atkinson and his wrinkly face and greasy hair in a press conference when he has been the number 2 percentage three-point shooter in the NBA, and obviously that's not good enough for Kenny. So based on what he has said about Jalen Tyson starts the conversation. He was prompted to comment on Jalen Tyson's role 2 games ago within the rotation. He's got to earn it, Atkinson said. Now, I don't know about you all, but what is the definition of he's got to earn it? That he's loafing? that he's not getting the job done? Why would you pick out the most improved player on the roster? I mean, is that some form of tough love? Is that what it is? I don't know. But I notice that Jalen Tyson isn't playing well. And it's all started after Kenny said that. And he was having such a good season. So I say, geez, that's very odd. In the game yesterday, they showed some pre-game interview, which I cannot find video on, of Kenny Atkinson running his hand through his greasy hair and just kind of sitting there going, when he was asked about CPJ. And he's like this, and he's saying, we really wish that he would shoot 3-point shots more. And I guess he's just not that guy. And he has to pick up what he's doing. And I remembered early in the season, CPJ, after everything he did great last year, wasn't even in the fucking rotation with Kenny Atkinson. Then he gets in and he starts doing really good things, rebounding the ball, stealing the ball. But just like DeAndre, he's afraid to shoot the ball. How can that happen? Didn't have any problem last year. He came right in. He was firing. And we were talking about, the fact that how Ty Jerome would come into the game firing. And CPJ, it was the same way. He'd get to the rim. He had an intermediate game. He'd drop in occasional 3-point shots, but he never hesitated. Why in the fuck is he hesitating now? And it's right at the same period of time where Kenny Atkinson badmouths him in front of the press. Now, I would expect such asshole behavior from J.J. Redick, maybe. But what is the story? Is this why Kenny Atkinson all those years wasn't a head coach? Does he have trouble motivating players? Does he insult players and get less out of them? And then I take a look at Evan Mobley and I say, fuck, everybody says, Evan Mobley, he's really had a drop-off this year. And I'm going, well, geez, aren't we talking about now 3 fucking players who are meaningful players on our roster who are experiencing the exact same thing at the exact same time? I don't know. The only thing I can think of is that the one happy guy is Jarrett Allen, the one who is the most criticized for being a bow wow during the course of playoff time. We got James Harden, and he's seeing the basketball down in the paint. But there isn't a single 3-point shooter who is doing better since these new guys came on board. Now, there's more to this. We trade for guys, and look, I already told you what I thought about some of the guys in the trades. I mean, Keon Ellis, wonderful stuff. However, Schroeder, I already spoke my mind about why Schroeder's played for 11 different teams, right? And we're seeing it in bold-faced black and white. He never knows when to stop dribbling and when to pass the fucking ball. I don't want a 6'1", 180-pound guy who isn't Allen Iverson trying to finish at the rim when he's 32 going on 33 years old with a fucking sprained ankle. Is it me? Am I the only one who feels this way? That he's dominating the basketball for long periods of time, which is totally destroying the timing of what the offense is supposed to be, which is fastball movement And he is just banging and pounding and pounding and pounding the ball. And with him and Harden on the floor at the same time, the goddamn basketball's never airborne until they're chucking up a bad shot. This is a team that used to have a ball on a string going all over the place. What the fuck's happened? Why isn't our rookie Duke backup guard getting any minutes now? Well, we got these guys in a trade. Got to play Keon. I get that. I'm talking about a game when our starting guy, who is, James Harden, is busted up. He's got a busted thumb. And that Schroeder, the ball hog that he is, he's got a sprained ankle. And Proctor still can't get in the game? You got to be kidding me. Sitting on his ass, doing nothing. Kenny really thinks he's going to get scoring if he puts Tomlin on the floor along with those guys? I mean, do you really think that he doesn't understand that Schroeder is not a big-time shooter or scorer? He's tough. I'll give him that. He's a wiry, tough guy. I don't mind him in that regard. But he's a fucking ball hog. He won't stop dribbling. He's what we used to call a dribble queen. And everyone was saying, geez, Proctor's really coming along and he's starting to look like he's starting to get used to the tempo. No. Yeah, we're wondering, is he that guy? It really pisses me off. We come out against a lousy team who came out saying to us, here's the game. You want it? We should have been up like 18-2, 20-2 in that game. And we couldn't score points because dribble. Everybody's running out. And the only thing we could get were attempts at 2-point shots. They're all running out and holding our players and seeing exactly what other teams have done, and the referees won't call anything. And once the net saw, hey, we're going to be in this game, it became real hell. You can talk all you want about what a great job, Mobley and Allen did. They made Wolf look like a Hall of Famer. Who in the fuck is this guy? He was the 26th, 27th pick. Guy was diamond, man. He was like firing them in from three. He was driving the lane and banking them in. He was, I don't know. But it's the players I'm concerned about. Not their ability, but what they're taking from the head coach and what it's turning them into. And I guess I'm sensitive to stuff like this because you deal with people and you can kind of see how people are dealing with their own situations when they're not getting support. The Jalen Tyson thing makes me sick. It really does. I think he was the one feel-good story through all of this horrible shit with DeAndre Hunter and Darius Garland, the injuries, the whole season that's been disrupted. Jalen Tyson was the one thing. I mean, he played so good that he lived up to what Mac Perry wanted from him. People on Twitter and X will understand if you're following Mac. Mac is the eternal optimist, and he had never-ending belief in Jalen Tyson, and he turned out to be right. But Kenny don't think so. I don't for the life of me understand why he would say and make the remarks that he made about Jalen Tyson. I just he wants him to be. Yeah, it's the same thing. We want a 3-and-D guy, a 3-and-D guy. So I mean, what he's not better than Isaac Okoro. I mean, Okoro was out there doing dog shit for God knows how long. What's the problem here? Is Jalen Tyson perfect? No, but now he's hesitant, just like the other players. He's not getting into the paint now and doing his floaters and doing his mid-range game. That nice soft bank shot. Where did it go, Kenny? I get the feeling he's being beaten over the head, but he's forced to carry around a little Kenny Atkinson doll that goes, you got to play more defense, while running his little fingers through his hair. That's what I think. I think he's getting into the heads of his own players, and I don't understand why. Now, am I completely off base on this? I mean, when was the last time you heard the player say, God, we really love playing for this guy? You remember how nobody said, God, I really love playing for JB Bickerstaff? Remember? Is it possible that he's just got the wrong approach with these young players? That he automatically trusts a 32 going on 33-year-old man with a sprained ankle more than he does with a draft pick out of Duke University who shoots better? The job is a tough one, Richard. I'd be the first one to acknowledge it because, yeah. And the few people will say, well, we really need Dean Wade. Fuck Dean Wade. Dean Wade can't play more than 5 games without getting run over by a car. So, no. But yes, the fact that the lineup is changing should be all the more reason he's giving positive feedback to these players because they could be forced into the game at any moment. What do you tell Proctor as he's sitting there at the end of the bench, forgotten? We got Schroeder now, and it doesn't matter. If he has his left leg amputated, it's going to be Schroeder, not you, son. What is this doing to the mental faculties of the players? And all I can tell you is, and I named them, DeAndre Hunter, Evan Mobley, who has diminished by all people's accounts. He has diminished, and in the last possession of the game against the Pistons, he was afraid to shoot the ball. He had that open look quickly. He pulled it down and started doing the head and shoulder fake goddamn thing. He should be in a fucking shampoo commercial with the head and shoulders thing. Total lack of confidence. So that's 2. And now Jalen Tyson being questioned and not getting into the paint anymore. He was acting tough on the court, man. He was being physical, and he's quieted down. I don't know how to walk away from this without saying this is what it appears to be. I don't know. Maybe it's just me, and I'm making all this shit up. But you got to do better than what they did against the goddamn Nets. The Nets were ready to lose, as they lose every game they play. And I don't want to hear about, Mobley's starting to look a little more like himself. Well, he and Allen just they allowed guys like Wolf and the other guy that they had out there to run all over them. Effort comes from players who want to play. Karis LeVert, you see him? Old Karis back playing with J.B. Bickerstaff. We know that he didn't want to play for J.B. Bickerstaff, and his agent didn't want him to play for J.B. Bickerstaff. That's where he ended up. And when he was in the game against Cavaliers, I don't even think I saw him do anything. Old J.B. buried him. He'll never be the same as he was. And I'm not saying that he is a great player, but Karis LeVert could periodically carry teams scoring-wise for short periods of time, like Jordan Clarkson would. He's not a defensive player, but the problem is he's a volume shooter, and he tends to chuck too much. But you can tell when players just aren't fitting in. You can take a look at Luka and JJ Redick and say to yourself, boy, that's a fucked up situation. If you think LeBron James is going to stay in Los Angeles for his last year, you're fucking crazy. I don't know if you saw the footage from yesterday's game, but I mean, JJ Redick's following Luka down the bench, barking at him, and Luka's like, yeah, get away from me, you little gnat. There are coaches who are known to be players' coaches in the sense that they know how to communicate with players, can get the most out of them. There are also disciplinary coaches, and JB Bickerstaff would be one who's, you got a pound, whose message wears out after about 3 years and the players go rogue. And then there are other coaches like David Blatt who'd rather get laid that actually communicate with their players and show the players his Ivy League skills and how famous he was in Israel and Europe and European basketball. And while you're at it, find me a black woman to have sex with. David Blatt. Yes. And it's true. I mean, you see the look on Evan Mobley's face. He looks like he's constipated at the free throw line. It's like, oh my God. It reminds me of Don Knotts on the Andy of Mayberry show. But that couldn't force a shit out of his asshole if he tried, man. He's tight. Or Tuco from Breaking Bad. Tight. And they're all short. He slams them off the front of the rim. They're flat and short. He's gator arming them. So, I don't know. It's awful strange. So many players are having a crisis of confidence at the same time. I don't think it's any coincidence at all. Oh, God. You're leaving players out. I mean, Harden was not dribbling properly. I mean, look, he's a courageous veteran, but you got problems here. You got real problems here. And right now, any thoughts that you could even maybe make a run for the number one position are all gone. You're 8.5 games behind, and you're going to lose a couple of these upcoming games because you don't have your players. Now it's all about regrouping and getting yourself strengthened physically, and healthy by the time the playoffs come around. But health is not just physical, it's mental. And I think that's where my great concern is. I think Kenny Atkinson is losing the players. I really do. And they're not performing the way they should. They played really hard against the Pistons. But this notion of fouling to prevent a guy from throwing up a 50-foot shot, I mean, and it was a brainless thing that Jalen Tyson did. But again, this is what happens to players. And they told him to foul. It wasn't that Jalen Tyson decided, I'm going to do this rogue and just foul this guy. He was told to do it. And you know what happened? They played well enough to win, and the coach snatched defeat from the jaws of victory, and he did it again yesterday to prove that he's never going to change. It's no different than fucking Stefanski and his goddamn statistical bullshit. We've been 97% successful in that situation, and it's called for that we foul. But you don't understand, you greasy-haired fuck. The referees will call it an in the act of shooting, even if the guy's 55 feet from the basket, you stupid moron. It's because you have no confidence in your defense. That's why. Think of all the good defensive NBA teams, the ones who are allowed to foul at will. Is there a lack of confidence? Do you think Oklahoma City would have any fear, that Lou Dort would have any fear in guarding his man one-on-one to prevent the game-tying basket with 4 seconds left on the clock on an inbounds? Do you really think he'd have a problem with that? Come on. It's the way Kenny does shit. It's the way that Kevin does shit. And it's what makes them ex-coaches. Mark my words. If you don't learn from your own mistakes, nothing's going to save you. Cavaliers are teetering, in the sense that with the injuries and with where they are in the standings, they could go up one, but no more, down a couple. And now, they're making themselves feel better. Well, we were able to bunch of second and third stringers to play the Pistons. So we're nearly not worried about you're never going to play the Pistons. Unless you're the 8th team and you're not going to be the play-in team. So, you're not going to play the Pistons. The Pistons have won the fucking division. 1 against 8, 2 against 7, 3 against 6, 4 against 5. And I'm Casey Kasem. I don't know. So you're gonna be playing, and you can take a look at the standings. You can guess, but it isn't going to be Detroit. Say, well, what if they play Detroit in the finals? Detroit's not going to make the finals. Don't you understand? Detroit, Boston, New York. Which city doesn't matter? You stupid fucks. Come on. Detroit hasn't been relevant for God knows how long. And they're not relevant now. They're Baskin-Robbins' favorite flavor of the day. But they're not a team that is going to win a championship. They're just not. While I'm at it, stop playing Tomlin, okay? He can't shoot. I know that you want the hustle defense, and I'm not criticizing Naquan. Naquan comes from a background in Rucker Park where fancy jams were the thing, and he didn't have to worry about mid-range game, and he didn't have to worry about putting up threes, okay? But the more he's out there, his 3-point shots are, not only are they missing the rim, they're landing in the wrong zip code. You've got Bryant, and I'm not saying that Thomas Bryant is a great basketball player, but he's a better three-point shooter for sure than Tomlin is, and he has length. He's not fast, but sometimes you got to shuttle men in and out and get the most out of them while they're in there. Bryant might be able to give you a few points off the bench, a little bit of energy coming off the bench, but he hardly played at all. And the excuse is, well, as we get our players back, there's going to be less opportunity for these players. And it's like, you don't get it. The reason that you lost last year, Kenny, is because you couldn't beat the press up the court. Your players were beat up, your players were exhausted. Right on schedule, Donovan Mitchell's pulled his groin. Not as good as if somebody else pulled it for him. And that's true. Bryant can shoot free throws and threes. And I'm not saying you leave him out on the court for long periods of time, but Tomlin doesn't belong on the floor. These games are too important in trying to find the gelling lineup, the group of guys who go together. And I'm thrilled for him. He got his 2-year deal, and I'm thrilled for him, but he's a liability. He runs into people and gets fouls called a lot. He's out of control a lot. And now he's missing layups, and I don't know what's going on. Could his confidence be lacking? It's just too many players. It's happening to too many damn players. And if you're a Guardians fan, I'll leave you with some pleasantries. Chase DeLauder can hit if his body's not in a sling. He came back from taking a few days off because of lower body. I don't know what they refer to it as. Lower body soreness. Hell, I get that after I jerk off. That's what Bruce dreaded. I get that when I jerk off. Lower body soreness. And he comes back and he hits a double and he smashes a home run. But for how long, right? It's spring training where all things could happen. Where a guy named Ralphie is looking good. I just keep thinking of Happy Days and Ralph Mouth. I'm just not really sure about the Guardians at all. And they're, and this guy, Rice Hoskins, I don't, take a look at his stats. He's on his way down. Finish up in Cleveland. Way to go. Way to go, Mr. Dolan. Looking for power hitters. Who's the new big Christmas? Only time will tell. But when the big headline is, you're a pitcher who had like quadruple number of arm surgeries. Espina has pitched 9 innings and he hasn't yelled mommy yet. That's good news for the Guardians. And no, I haven't watched a pitch of spring training, and nor will I. It does not mean anything. And then this is the kind of thing you get from Terry Pluto. Browns traded for a starting tackle. Whoever he is, I'll take him. Look at the guys we had. You probably said that about them too. Oh, whoever he is, we'll take him. Yeah. We'll get a guy from another team and put him out on the field, and he'll just become a swinging door. But whoever he is, I'll take him. And then I'll use fake religious credentials to go into people's hospital rooms. Right, Terry? And then a sobering note. to finish the program. Um, I don't know if it's me, but I'm just noticing it's like every time they had the actors awards, they do this in memoriam. It's all these actors who have died, in the past year. It's like, for God's sakes, and then people, the Robert Redford types, who are like, oh my God, Gene Hackman, and and all that. It's like, oh my God. And you see them back to back to back to back, and then they slide a few in. You go, that guy's dead too. I'm 68 years old. The people who are my contemporaries, who I watched in movies growing up, they're dropping like flies. But why a 23-year-old kid? Colorado quarterback Dominique Pondard is dead, and a single car crash. And for Colorado, it's an absolute blow. It's not that he was like he only played, I think, 4 plays last year, and he was like going into his he's a third year sophomore. He was. And he transferred from Bethune-Cookman to go to Colorado. Deion Sanders said, Dom was one of my favorites. He was loved, respected, and a born leader. Let's pray for all that knew him and had the opportunity to be in his presence. Lord, you're receiving a good one. No, that's not good enough. Listen to this. According to Colorado State Patrol, the crash occurred at 3 a.m. Sunday in Boulder County. Police said Ponder, who was driving a 2023 Tesla Model 3, lost control on a curve. The car went across the eastbound lane, striking a guardrail and then an electrical line pole before rolling down an embankment and totally catching on fire. And he was pronounced dead at the scene because he was like Kingsford charcoal in the car. Oh, you're going to see more of it. Put me in the portal, get me my money, and I'm going to go out and I'm going to buy a car. I'm going to drive it fast at 3 o'clock in the morning. And if you don't believe me, how many times was Dion's son busted for speeding in Northeast Ohio? No good. No good will come out of any of this shit. No good. You're putting a lot of money in the hands of young people who don't really know except to be cool, and they think they're indestructible. And it's a sad, sad loss. And how do you put an old head on young shoulders? God only knows. But don't ask Kenny Atkinson to do it. Thanks a lot for watching this edition of Moohead Radio. Sorry if I made this a little bit of an earlier thing than normal and an unadvertised one at that. But I'll explain that my best friend in the world, Topaz the Wolf, got into something that he shouldn't have gotten into food-wise that I didn't realize until today that could be very concerning as far as detrimental to his kidneys. And I had to rush him into the vet today, and he is staying at the vet. He's getting fluids. He seems to be fine. But just a warning that if you have dogs, I fucked up. I didn't feed him something. He got something that he should never have been able to get because it fell off of my plate and I didn't realize it. And I have been feeling terrible about this all day. So this is my confession to the world about how badly I feel about this. And but I'll be picking him up at 5:30 today. All of his blood work is good. But just remember, dogs can't eat grapes. Grapes are poison to dogs. And he just kind of got something on the floor. I was eating a salad, dropped a grape out of there, and he got to it. And I didn't know. I didn't find it until the next day. And it was a small grape, and he ate. It looked like he just kind of rolled it around. He did get his teeth into it, and it's deadly to dogs. And to some dogs, even the smallest quantity, like half a grape, could kill them. But in most cases, this would not be the case. And hopefully, the fact that I didn't find out until the next day, it had been 12 hours since he had consumed whatever he consumed of it, excuse me, and got him to the vet, and all of his blood work came clean this morning. So Topaz is the best dog I've ever had. So I'm a little bit worried about that today. Thanks everybody for tuning in. I hope you have an enjoyable week, and I have a busy one coming up, and I'll be back again with you on Friday to talk more sports shit. Until then, hasta la vista, Pastor Heads. Good night. Good day. Bye.